are going to be doing these brows right here. You see these brows? I'm going to teach you how to get this kind of feathered brow look. It still looks really natural and soft. Almost looks like I woke up this way, but I totally didn't. If you want to see how to get this feathered brow look, then let's just get right into it. Oh, and if you're new here, my name is Delina, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. And if you're not new here, thank you for your support. It means the world to me. Let's just get right into the tutorial. Ah, where'd my brows go? Just kidding. I'll be really honest with you guys. There are several different interpretations of what feathered brows mean, so I'm going to do my interpretation of this. Hopefully it is what you are looking for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brow gel, and this is a tinted brow gel. Since I have blonde brows, I need to start to get some definition and some color into my brows so that I can see more strategically where to place my pomade. So I will be using the Geoxor Brow Styler Gel in the shade Brown and the Anastasia Brow Pomade in the shade Auburn. So I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna very generously start to work that through my brows. Since I have blonde hairs, I really need to go in and define it. If you already have dark brows, this may not be a necessary step, or you could just run through your brows with like a clear gel if you just want to get a little bit of definition. This will already start to get that feathery look for us by just brushing this through our brows, because really the goal is to get definition but use as little product as possible. So already I'm starting to get that feathery look because I'm defining the brow hairs themselves. Whenever it comes to feathered brows, kind of work upwards as much as possible, like really pull those brows up and kind of get that untamed look. So that's also going to help to really lift the brow and just kind of give it the face an overall like lifted shape. And then also by using a brow gel, it's going to kind of hold the brows in place of wherever we kind of push them into. So now that I've tinted my brows and I can see the shape that I want to make with them, or at least the shape that I want to follow with them, I can go in with my pomade. Whenever you're doing a feathered brow, you want it to be very natural and you want to use as little product as possible. So I'm going to use a very, very thin brush. This is actually an eyeliner brush, but it's a flat liner brush from Sephora. And I'm just going to take my pomade and I'm going to dip into it and then pull it down on the sides of the jar here so that I flatten my bristles with that product as I'm pulling it out. So my brush is as flat as possible. I kind of want to let my brows set for a second. If you let the brow hairs set, then as you go in, you won't keep moving those brow hairs around, but you'll just they'll stay in place. So it's a little bit easier to follow the shape and you're not kind of messing up what you've already done. I've been super into the glossy lip, just like the bare kind of glossy lip recently. What do you guys think of it? I think it's super great with summer coming up as well. The less makeup on the face, I feel the better whenever it comes to summer. You're just like, I don't want to be wearing a bunch of stuff. Now that I've let those set a little bit, I'm just gonna kind of just strategically go in and place this. Like I can see I have a natural gap right here. So I kind of want to go fill that in, and I'm just using very, very tiny strokes. And then I like a really defined arch. I think most people do. So I'm just going to go in and kind of define the arch a little bit. But I'm not putting near as much product in my brows as I normally would. And I'm just pulling that down using tiny, tiny little strokes. Because we want to create the illusion of brow hairs. That's what's gonna keep that really, really feathery look. So I'm just picking up a little bit more product. Also making sure that you have enough product on your brush, but not too much at the same time. Like there shouldn't be piles of product on there. You want it to be nice and flat, but you wanna have enough product on there to where it's not drying as you're placing it. And then I have a little bit of sparseness in here. I'm going to fill that in a little bit. I want to go in and define the tail And I want to define underneath a little bit. So I'm going to go in and pick up a little bit more product, flatten my brush with it, and I'm just going to pull that ever so lightly, just little tiny strokes, following the direction of the brow hairs. And then as we get in here, we already have a really, really nice feathery look right in here, and I really want to preserve that as much as possible. So I'm just going to create a few more strokes. I'm not even really going in and underlining it, because I want to keep that super, super feathery look. I'm just gonna do a few strokes through here just to bring more fullness. So as we can see, like, it doesn't look like a perfect brow. It looks very natural but very defined at the same time. Like, it looks like you see every little hair. Whenever you're doing a feathered brow, it's not about having a really defined brow. It's just about having a lot of little strokes. Almost like I'm gonna go for like that microbladed look. You know what I'm saying? Like you're mimicking a bunch of little brow hairs. Like you were just born with perfect brows. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. This is my troubled brow, so we'll see how this guy goes. But with this guy, I'm gonna start right in here. You'll have the best luck if you just start with a very, very small amount of product. See, my product is starting to dry, and I can tell because it's not doing little strokes anymore. It's kind of just pulling a little bit of like a shadow, like it's not making defined strokes. So that's how I know that I need to pick up a little bit more product. This one I'll definitely have to fill in more with because this brow is a lot more sparse than this one is, so this one's gonna take a little bit more work. But it definitely helps to run a generous amount of brow gel through, because then as you're placing the product, it's not moving the brow hairs around. Like everything is staying in place so that it doesn't distract you from the shape that you're trying to make. So then I'm gonna go into the front of the brow and start to do those upward strokes. I like to do a few strokes that kind of surpass the height, because that makes it look really, really feathery. We're kind of pulling it past here. And then I just like to take a spoolie and kind of run it over the edges just in case there's any areas that I got a little bit out of the lines, like a little bit more out of the lines than I wanted to. The best thing that I would say with this brow look is definitely make sure that your brows are well tamed beforehand, like plucked and everything. They don't have to be perfect, but they need to have some kind of order to them in order for you to still look defined, but still have like that separated kind of feathery look. So I would highly recommend making sure that you kind of pluck your brows and everything. I shaped mine not too long ago. I have like a few strays. I'm not too worried about those guys. But overall, if you've like never shaped your brows before and they're a little bit unruly, that's fine. You can still make it work, but I do find that it makes it a little bit easier if you have already kind of shaped out your brows naturally and then go in and just kind of fill in where you need to. But that's pretty much it. I think this is like a great everyday kind of brow where you just kind of run some brow gel through it. Oh, what's my hair doing? Okay. Yeah, I definitely think this is a really great everyday brow look because you just kind of run that brow gel through it and then kind of spot fill pretty much is all you're doing. So it makes it super easy and it looks super natural but still very defined. So what do you guys think? Personally, I think that doing a feathered brow is pretty easy. I think it's just about using minimal amount of product and slowly kind of building it up. Just like anything else in makeup, use less product because you can always add more. You can always add more. And then also having the right tools. So having a brow gel that has a really good comb on it so that you can really comb that gel through your brows, and then having a really nice thin brush. Those are the things that are really gonna set you up for success with this technique. And then also, if you have something that's like the Brow Wiz from Anastasia, that's like that very, very slim pencil. I almost said crayon. That's that very slim pencil. You can totally do the same thing with that. Don't feel like you have to have a pomade. I just wouldn't do it with just like your normal brow pencil. I just don't feel like you'll get the kind of precision. I'm sure that you could still make it work. You'll have to work a little bit harder, and it would make it a little bit easier if you had like the Brow Wiz from Anastasia or just any skinny brow pencil, or if you had a pomade with a really skinny brush. That's what I had on hand, so that's what I used, obviously, but use what you have, or maybe get whatever would be your preference. But yeah, that pretty much is it for this tutorial. I feel like it was super simple, super easy. It will probably take a little bit of practice if you're not used to the technique, so let me know if you guys are gonna try this down in the comments below, and also leave me some requests for some techniques that you may want to see breaked down, or maybe some looks to create for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave and the notification bell, because what's the point of subscribing if you don't know when I'm gonna upload? Am I right? And then also make sure you follow me on all my other social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't really hardly ever tweet, but I do tweet whenever I upload, so there's another way to know whenever I upload. I'm just not that kind of person. I feel like I'm just not the kind of person that will sit there and just like write out my thoughts all day on Twitter, you know? Which I know that's not what people do, but it's kind of what they do. So I just don't think about it. Like whenever I have a thought, I'm not like, oh, I need to tweet that, you know? I don't know. I've always been that way. But other than that, thanks again for watching, and I will see you all in Wednesday's wear test. Bye!